You might think you know everyone around you, but what if I told you some people could be sent by the devil? It's not as crazy as it sounds. In fact, there are clear signs that can help you spot these dangerous individuals. Today, we're going to talk about 7 signs to watch out for. These signs aren't just interesting. They could save you from a lot of trouble. Here's the thing. If you don't learn to spot these signs, you might let the wrong people into your life. This isn't just about having a bad friend or an annoying coworker. We're talking about people who could cause real damage. They could bring pain, create big problems, and even make you lose your way on your spiritual path. That's why it's so important to know what to look for. Think about it. Have you ever had someone in your life who always seemed to bring drama? Or maybe someone who made you feel bad about yourself all the time? These could be more than just personality quirks. They might be signs of something much more serious. In this video, we're going to go through 7 clear signs that someone might be sent by the devil. Now, I know that sounds intense, but don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll have a good understanding of what to look out for. This knowledge will help you protect yourself and your spiritual journey. We're not just going to list off these signs. For each one, we'll talk about why it's a problem and how it might show up in your life. I'll give you real examples so you can see how these signs might pop up in everyday situations. This way, you'll be better prepared to spot them when they happen to you. Remember, this isn't about being paranoid or suspicious of everyone you meet. It's about being aware and protecting yourself. It's about making sure you're surrounding yourself with people who support you and help you grow, not people who bring you down or lead you astray. Let's start with the first sign. They always put you down. This is a big one, and it's often one of the easiest to spot if you know what to look for. What does it mean to put someone down? It's when someone says or does things that make you feel bad about yourself. They might criticize you a lot, make fun of you, or always point out your mistakes. At first, it might seem like they're just being honest or trying to help you improve. But if it happens all the time, and especially if it makes you feel awful, that's a red flag. Why is this a sign of someone who might be sent by the devil? Well, think about it. If you believe in spiritual goodness, then you know that we're all supposed to lift each other up, not tear each other down. Someone who constantly puts you down is doing the opposite of that. They're trying to dim your light, to make you feel small and worthless. Maybe you have a friend who always has something negative to say about your appearance. Oh, you're wearing that? I guess it's okay if you don't mind looking a bit frumpy. Or maybe it's a coworker who never misses a chance to point out your mistakes, even small ones. Wow, you messed up the coffee order again. I guess some people just can't handle simple tasks. These put-downs can be even more subtle sometimes. It might be someone who says things like, "I'm just surprised you managed to do that." It's usually a bit beyond you, isn't it? They're wrapping up their insult in what sounds like a compliment, but it still leaves you feeling bad about yourself. The thing about these put-downs is that they can really wear you down over time. It's like a constant drip of water on a rock. One drop doesn't do much, but over time, it can create a deep hole. In the same way, constant put-downs can erode your self-esteem and confidence. This is exactly what someone sent by the devil might want. Why? Because when you're feeling low and unsure of yourself, you're more likely to make bad choices. You might start to believe that you don't deserve good things in life. You might give up on your dreams or your spiritual path because you think you're not good enough. But here's the important thing to remember. You are good enough. Everyone has value and worth. If someone in your life is constantly making you feel otherwise, that's a problem with them, not with you. So, how do you deal with someone who always puts you down? The first step is to recognize it for what it is. Don't brush it off or make excuses for them. If someone's words or actions regularly make you feel bad about yourself, that's not okay. Next, try to set some boundaries. You could say something like, "I don't appreciate when you speak to me that way. It's hurtful and I'd like you to stop." If they care about you and respect you, they should try to change their behavior. If they don't change, or if they get angry when you try to set boundaries, that's another red flag. It might be time to think about whether this person should have a place in your life at all. Remember, surrounding yourself with positive people who support you and believe in you is crucial for your spiritual and personal growth. Don't let anyone convince you that you deserve to be treated badly. Now let's talk about the second sign. They push you to do bad things. This one can be tricky because sometimes it might not seem so bad at first, but it's a classic tactic of someone who might be sent to lead you astray. What do we mean by bad things? Well, it could be anything that goes against your moral code or your spiritual beliefs. It might be something illegal, or it might just be something that you know in your heart isn't right for you. The key here is the pushing. Someone who has your best interests at heart will respect your decisions and your boundaries. They might offer advice if they think you're making a mistake, but they won't try to force you or manipulate you into doing something you're not comfortable with. On the other hand, someone who might be sent by the devil will keep pushing. They'll try to wear down your resistance. They might use guilt, peer pressure, or even threats to get you to do what they want. Maybe you have a friend who keeps trying to get you to lie for them. At first, it might seem small. Hey, can you tell my boss I was sick yesterday? I just didn't feel like coming in. But then it escalates. Soon they're asking you to lie about bigger things, maybe even to cover up something illegal they've done. Or it could be a romantic partner who pushes you to be intimate in ways you're not comfortable with. They might say things like, if you really loved me, you'd do this. Or, everyone else does it. What's wrong with you? It could also be more subtle. Maybe it's a coworker who encourages you to cut corners at work or to take credit for someone else's ideas. It's not really stealing, they might say. It's just being smart about business. The common thread in all these examples is that someone is trying to get you to compromise your values. They're pushing you to cross lines that you've set for yourself. Why is this a sign of someone who might be sent by the devil? Well, in many spiritual traditions, the devil is seen as a tempter. He doesn't force people to do bad things. He tempts them, he pushes them, he tries to make the wrong choice look appealing. When someone in your life is constantly pushing you to do things you know are wrong, they're playing that same role. They're trying to lead you off your path, to get you to compromise your principles. This kind of pushing can be really dangerous because it's often gradual. It starts with small things that don't seem like a big deal. But over time, those small compromises can lead to bigger ones. Before you know it, you might find yourself doing things you never thought you'd do, feeling far away from the person you want to be. So how do you deal with someone who's always pushing you to do bad things? First, trust your gut. If something feels wrong to you, it probably is. Don't let anyone convince you to ignore that feeling. Be clear about your boundaries. You can say something like, I'm not comfortable with that and I won't do it. Please don't ask me again. A good friend or partner will respect your boundaries. If they don't, that's a big red flag. Remember, you always have the right to say no. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you won't do something that goes against your values. No is a complete sentence. If someone keeps pushing even after you've made your boundaries clear, it might be time to reconsider that relationship. Your spiritual and moral well-being is too important to compromise for anyone. It's also important to surround yourself with people who share your values. When you have friends who support your good choices, it's much easier to resist temptation when it comes along. Let's move on to the third sign. They're always angry or negative. This one might seem obvious, but it's surprising how easy it can be to overlook when it's someone close to us. We all have bad days sometimes. We all get angry or feel down now and then. That's normal and human. But we're talking about something different here. We're talking about people who seem to live in a constant state of anger or negativity. Why is this a sign of someone who might be sent by the devil? Well, in many spiritual traditions, love, joy, and peace are seen as divine qualities. The opposite of these, anger, hatred, and constant negativity, are often associated with darker forces. When someone is always angry or negative, they're not just making themselves miserable. They're spreading that negative energy to everyone around them. It's like they're carrying a dark cloud with them wherever they go, and anyone who gets too close gets caught in the storm. Maybe you have a family member who always finds something to complain about. No matter what's happening, they can spot the negative. If it's sunny, they complain it's too hot. If it's raining, they moan about the weather ruining their plans. Nothing is ever good enough for them. Or perhaps you have a coworker who's always angry. They snap at people for no reason. They're constantly frustrated, and they seem to take everything as a personal attack. Being around them feels like walking on eggshells. You never know what might set them off. It could also be a friend who's always pessimistic. No matter what you're excited about, they find a way to rain on your parade. Oh, you got a promotion? Well, I bet the work will be a lot harder now. Or, you're getting married? I hope you're ready for how tough marriage can be. The problem with being around people like this is that their negativity can be contagious. Have you ever noticed how your mood changes after spending time with a really negative person? You might start to feel down yourself, or find yourself complaining more than usual. This negative influence can be especially harmful to your spiritual journey. Many spiritual practices involve cultivating positive qualities like gratitude, compassion, and joy. But when you're surrounded by negativity, it can be really hard to maintain those positive mindsets. Moreover, constant anger and negativity can drain your energy. It's exhausting to be around someone who's always upset or complaining. You might find yourself feeling tired and depleted after spending time with them, with little energy left for the things that matter to you. So, how do you deal with someone who's always angry or negative? First, try to limit your exposure. You don't have to cut them out of your life entirely unless you want to, but you can set boundaries around how much time you spend with them. When you do interact with them, try not to get pulled into their negativity. You don't have to agree with their complaints or fuel their anger. Instead, you could try to gently steer the conversation to more positive topics. It can also be helpful to practice some kind of protection or cleansing ritual after spending time with very negative people. This could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths and visualizing yourself surrounded by white light. Or it could be a more formal spiritual practice if you have one. Remember, you have the right to protect your own energy and mental well-being. If someone's constant negativity is bringing you down, it's okay to create some distance. At the same time, if you care about this person, you might want to express your concern. Sometimes people don't realize how negative they've become. A gentle conversation might help them become more aware of their behavior. However, be prepared for the possibility that they might not want to change. Some people are very attached to their negative worldview. If that's the case, you'll need to decide how much of their negativity you're willing to accept in your life. It's also worth noting that sometimes, constant anger or negativity can be a sign of mental health issues like depression or anxiety. If you're worried about someone's mental health, encouraging them to seek professional help could be the most caring thing you can do. Ultimately, surrounding yourself with positive, uplifting people is crucial for your own well-being and spiritual growth. While you can't control others' behavior, you can control who you choose to spend your time with and how much of their energy you allow to affect you. Remember, your spiritual journey is about growing in love, joy, and peace. Don't let anyone's negativity hold you back from that path. Let's talk about the fourth sign. They lie and can't be trusted. This is a big one, and it can be really harmful to your relationships and your peace of mind. Trust is the foundation of any good relationship. Whether it's a friendship, a romantic partnership, or even a work relationship, you need to be able to trust the other person. When someone lies to you, they're chipping away at that foundation. Why is lying a sign of someone who might be sent by the devil? Well, in many spiritual traditions, truth is seen as a divine quality. Lies, on the other hand, are often associated with darkness and evil. When someone lies, they're creating confusion and chaos, which goes against the clarity and order that many associate with spiritual goodness. Maybe you have a friend who always seems to have a different story. One day they tell you they couldn't make it to your party because they were sick, but then you see pictures of them out at a club that same night. Or maybe they promise to pay you back money they borrowed, but they always have an excuse for why they can't do it yet. It could be a partner who's not faithful. They might tell you they're working late, but really they're meeting someone else. Or they might lie about small things, like where they went for lunch or who they were texting. In a work setting, it might be a colleague who takes credit for your ideas or lies about their progress on a project. They might promise to help you with something and then never follow through, always with a new excuse. The problem with lies is that they create a ripple effect. One lie often leads to more lies to cover up the first one. Before you know it, you're dealing with a whole web of dishonesty. This can leave you feeling confused, hurt, and unsure of what to believe. Lying also shows a lack of respect. When someone lies to you, they're essentially saying that they don't respect you enough to tell you the truth. They think it's okay to manipulate you for their own benefit. So how do you deal with someone who lies and can't be trusted? First, trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, if their stories don't add up, pay attention to that feeling. It's okay to ask questions. If you suspect someone is lying to you, you can calmly ask them to explain inconsistencies in their story. Watch how they react. Someone who's telling the truth will usually be happy to clarify things. Someone who's lying might get defensive or try to change the subject. Remember, you deserve honesty in your relationships. If someone repeatedly lies to you, it's okay to create some distance or even end the relationship if necessary. Your trust and peace of mind are valuable, and you shouldn't have to constantly doubt the people in your life. It's also important to be honest yourself. When you're always truthful, you attract people who value honesty. You create an environment where truth is expected and respected. Dealing with a liar can be really draining. It's like trying to build a house on shifting sand. No matter how hard you try, you can never feel secure. That's why it's so important to recognize this sign and protect yourself from people who can't be trusted. Now let's move on to the fifth sign. They're jealous of your success and happiness. This one can be tricky because sometimes jealousy can be subtle, but it's a powerful negative force in relationships. Jealousy is more than just wanting what someone else has. It's a resentful, bitter feeling that can lead people to try to bring others down. In spiritual terms, jealousy is often seen as a destructive emotion that goes against principles of love, contentment, and celebrating others' joys. Maybe you have a friend who always seems to rain on your parade. When you share good news, like a promotion at work or a new relationship, they respond with negativity. "Oh, I bet that job will be really stressful." Or, "Are you sure you're ready for a relationship?" It could be a family member who always tries to one-up you. If you buy a new car, they suddenly need a more expensive one. If you achieve something, they have to talk about how they did it first or did it better. In a work setting, it might be a colleague who tries to sabotage your projects or takes credit for your ideas. They might spread rumors about you or withhold important information to make you look bad. The problem with jealousy is that it can poison relationships. Instead of being happy for your successes, a jealous person will resent them. This can lead to them trying to undermine you or bring you down to their level. Jealousy can also be a self-fulfilling prophecy. When someone is always jealous, they might miss out on opportunities because they're too focused on what others have. This can lead to more jealousy, creating a negative cycle. So how do you deal with jealous people? First, recognize that their jealousy is about them, not you. You don't need to dim your light just because it makes someone else uncomfortable. It's okay to set boundaries with jealous people. If someone always responds negatively to your good news, you might choose not to share as much with them. You could say something like, "I've noticed that you often seem upset when I share good news. Is everything okay?" Remember, true friends and loved ones should be happy for your successes. If someone in your life can't celebrate your joys with you, it might be time to reconsider that relationship. It's also important to check your own feelings. We all feel a twinge of jealousy sometimes. The key is to recognize it and not let it control your actions. If you catch yourself feeling jealous, try to turn it into motivation. Instead of resenting someone else's success, let it inspire you to work towards your own goals. Dealing with jealous people can be draining. Their negative energy can dim your enthusiasm and make you second-guess yourself. That's why it's so important to recognize this sign and protect your own joy and success. Let's talk about the sixth sign. They try to control you. This is a big red flag in any relationship, whether it's with a friend, a family member, a romantic partner, or even a boss or coworker. Control is about power. When someone tries to control you, they're trying to take away your power and your choices. In spiritual terms, this goes against the idea of free will, which is often seen as a divine gift. Someone who tries to control you is essentially trying to play God in your life. It might be a partner who always needs to know where you are and who you're with. They might get angry if you don't answer their calls or text right away. They might try to control what you wear or who you're friends with. It could be a parent who can't accept that you're an adult with your own life. They might try to make decisions for you about your career, your relationships, or where you live. They might use guilt or manipulation to get you to do what they want. In a friendship, it might be someone who gets upset if you spend time with other friends. They might try to control your schedule or make you feel bad for having other interests. At work, it could be a boss who micromanages everything you do. They might not trust you to make any decisions on your own, or they might expect you to be available 24/7. The problem with controlling behavior is that it can slowly erode your sense of self. When someone is always telling you what to do, how to think, or how to feel, you might start to lose touch with your own wants and needs. This can be really damaging to your personal growth and your spiritual journey. Controlling behavior often comes with manipulation. The person might use guilt, fear, or even love as a weapon to get you to do what they want. They might say things like, "If you really loved me, you'd do this," or "You're being selfish if you don't do what I want." So how do you deal with someone who tries to control you? First, recognize that you have the right to make your own choices. No one else gets to decide how you live your life. It's important to set clear boundaries. You can say things like, "I appreciate your concern, but I'm comfortable with my decision," or "I need you to respect my choices even if you don't agree with them." Remember, it's okay to say no. You don't have to explain or justify your decisions to anyone. A simple "no, that doesn't work for me" is enough. If someone's controlling behavior is extreme, or if they react badly when you try to set boundaries, it might be time to reconsider the relationship. In some cases, controlling behavior can escalate into emotional or even physical abuse. It's also worth looking at why someone might be trying to control you. Sometimes, controlling behavior comes from a place of fear or insecurity. Understanding this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it might help you approach the situation with compassion. Dealing with controlling people can be exhausting. It's like constantly fighting for your right to be yourself. That's why it's so important to recognize this sign and stand up for your autonomy. Remember, your life is yours to live. Don't let anyone else try to write your story for you. Trust your own judgment and follow your own path. That's a key part of any spiritual journey. Sign number 7. They mock your spiritual beliefs. Let's move on to the 7th and final sign. They mock your spiritual beliefs. This is a particularly painful form of disrespect that can really shake your faith and make you doubt yourself. Your spiritual beliefs are a deeply personal and important part of who you are. They guide your decisions, shape your worldview, and provide comfort and meaning in your life. When someone mocks or belittles these beliefs, they're not just disagreeing with an idea, they're attacking a core part of your identity. Maybe you have a friend who always rolls their eyes when you mention your faith. They might make sarcastic comments like, "Oh, are you going to pray about it?" whenever you face a problem. Or they might constantly try to poke holes in your beliefs, not out of genuine curiosity, but just to make you feel foolish. It could be a family member who dismisses your spiritual practices as nonsense or a waste of time. They might make fun of you for meditating, going to religious services, or reading spiritual books. They might try to pressure you into skipping important religious observances or spiritual rituals. In a romantic relationship, it might be a partner who doesn't respect your spiritual boundaries. They might try to get you to do things that go against your beliefs, or they might belittle your faith-based decisions. At work, it could be colleagues who make your spiritual beliefs the butt of office jokes. They might exclude you from social events because they assume you won't participate due to your beliefs, or they might make inappropriate comments about your faith. The problem with this kind of mockery is that it can slowly erode your confidence in your beliefs. Even if you don't outwardly change your practices, you might start to feel embarrassed or ashamed about your faith. You might hesitate to express your beliefs or practice your spirituality openly. This mockery can also create a sense of isolation. If you feel like you can't share an important part of yourself with the people in your life, it can lead to feelings of loneliness and disconnection. So how do you deal with people who mock your spiritual beliefs? First, remember that your beliefs are valid and worthy of respect. You don't need anyone else's approval to follow your spiritual path. It's okay to set firm boundaries around this issue. You can say something like, "My spiritual beliefs are important to me, and I expect you to respect that even if you don't agree." If someone continues to mock your beliefs after you've made it clear that it's not okay, you might need to limit your interactions with them. It can also be helpful to seek out a community of people who share, or at least respect your beliefs. This could be a religious congregation, a spiritual group, or even online forums. Having a supportive community can help you stay strong in your faith even when faced with mockery or disrespect. Remember, true friends and loved ones should respect your beliefs, even if they don't share them. Disagreement is one thing, but mockery and disrespect are never acceptable. Dealing with people who mock your spiritual beliefs can be really challenging. It can make you question yourself and your choices. That's why it's so important to recognize this sign and protect your spiritual well-being. Your spiritual journey is yours alone. Don't let anyone else's negativity or disrespect derail you from your path. Stay true to your beliefs and surround yourself with people who respect and support your spiritual growth. Now that we've gone through all 7 signs, you might be wondering, what should I do if I notice these signs in someone in my life? This is an important question because recognizing the signs is just the first step. The next step is taking action to protect yourself. First and foremost, trust your instincts. If something feels off about a person or a relationship, pay attention to that feeling. Your intuition is a powerful tool, and it's often picking up on subtle cues that you might not consciously notice. Once you've recognized that someone in your life is showing these signs, it's time to set some boundaries. Boundaries are like invisible lines that define what's okay and what's not okay in your relationships. They protect your physical and emotional well-being. If someone is always putting you down, you might say, "I don't appreciate when you speak to me that way." If it continues, I'll need to end the conversation. If someone is pushing you to do things you're not comfortable with, a firm no is enough. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your choices. If someone is constantly negative, you might limit the time you spend with them or steer conversations to more positive topics. For those who lie or can't be trusted, you might decide to withhold sensitive information from them or double-check anything important they tell you. If someone is jealous of your success, you might choose not to share your achievements with them, instead celebrating with people who can be genuinely happy for you. For controlling individuals, assert your independence. I appreciate your input, but this is my decision to make. And if someone mocks your spiritual beliefs, you can say, "My beliefs are important to me, and I expect you to respect that, even if you don't agree." Remember, setting boundaries isn't about punishing the other person. It's about taking care of yourself and creating healthy relationships. In some cases, you might need to consider whether this person should have a place in your life at all. This is especially true if they consistently disrespect your boundaries or if their behavior is harmful to your well-being. It's also important to surround yourself with positive influences. Seek out relationships with people who uplift you, respect you, and support your growth. These positive relationships can provide a strong counterbalance to any negative influences in your life. Don't be afraid to seek help if you need it. This could mean talking to a trusted friend or family member, seeking guidance from a spiritual leader, or even working with a professional counselor or therapist. Sometimes, an outside perspective can be really valuable in navigating difficult relationships. Finally, remember to take care of yourself. Dealing with difficult people can be draining. Make sure you're taking time for self-care, whether that's through prayer, meditation, exercise, or whatever activities help you feel grounded and renewed. We've covered a lot of ground in this video, looking at 7 signs that someone in your life might be sent by the devil. Remember, these signs are: they always put you down. They push you to do bad things. They're always angry or negative. They lie and can't be trusted. They're jealous of your success and happiness. They try to control you. They mock your spiritual beliefs. It's important to note that everyone makes mistakes, and seeing one of these signs once doesn't necessarily mean someone is a negative influence. We're talking about consistent patterns of behavior here. The goal isn't to make you paranoid or suspicious of everyone around you. Instead, it's to help you be aware of the signs so you can protect yourself and your spiritual well-being. By recognizing these signs, you can make informed decisions about who you allow into your inner circle and how much influence you give them in your life. Remember, you have the power to choose who you surround yourself with. You deserve relationships that are positive, supportive, and respectful. Don't be afraid to set boundaries, seek support, and prioritize your own well-being. Your spiritual journey is unique and valuable. Protect it, nurture it, and surround yourself with people who respect and support your path. By doing so, you're not just taking care of yourself. You're creating space for genuine, positive connections that can enrich your life and help you grow. Stay aware, trust your instincts, and keep moving forward on your spiritual path. You've got this. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Remember, staying aware and protecting your spirit is key to a happy, fulfilling life. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.